This is Carl from National RV Detroit, and I'm going to show you through your 2021 Salem 33 TS. Okay, we're on the door side of the trailer now, and working our way towards the rear. Okay, so while we're at the rear, this is your swing out grill. Okay, now the grill comes with a rubber line, LP line, to connect it to the back. So this is where you connect this grill or any other gas appliance that you buy for it. It's a quick connect. The male end goes, you push it back, the male end pushes in there, and you let it go to lock it in place, and then you're going to turn it on like that. That's all there is to it. All the gas fittings work the same way. Even, you know, on the other end of the hose, there'll be a piece that looks like this to attach to the grill. So keep that in mind. You've got a kitchenette here with running water and a refrigerator. The refrigerator works on 110 AC. So when you plug in your trailer, basically the refrigerator starts operating. There's no switch for it. Okay, and then you have, of course, power out here and LED lights. The LED lights in this trailer, some of them will have a master switch, but all of them I think will have a button in the middle like that, so you can select them separately. While we're here, you have stabilizer jacks. They take a crank or a 3/4 inch socket. Most people these days use a 3/4 inch socket on the end of a battery powered drill. It's very quick. These come with a product called a strong arm, which just helps to stabilize the trailer even better. Generally this is an add-on part, an aftermarket part, but this comes standard on this trailer. So the thing you have to know is this should be loose when you're bringing the jack up and down. So you want to make sure it's loose. Then you'll hook up your drill, crank it down. You don't lift the trailer with these jacks. Now you just sort of take the wiggle out of it. So when you get it good solid on the ground, you'll then tighten the strong arm, and that takes the forward and backward motion out of it. So it'll just stabilize even better. But when you're bringing it back up, you want to loosen these, right, before you bring the stabilizer jack back up. And there's, of course, another view of the quick connect I just showed you, all right, for the LP. All right, so you have one of these strong arms on every jack. There's a jack on each corner. These are just low points of your plumbing. It's used for winterizing and de-winterizing. It's just the lowest point of your plumbing. You see you got a blue line for cold water, a red line for hot water line. That has to do with winterization and de-winterization. You got a power awning with an LED strip, outside speakers, and power, 110 AC. This vent right here is for the range hood that's over your stove. Keep in mind that there's a baffle inside. Right now it's shut, and you're going to keep it shut unless you're using the range hood, right? If you're using the vent, or the fan I should say, over your stove, then you'll want to reach up and you just push up in those grooves, and it'll free up the baffle so it flaps freely. But when you're not using the fan on your range hood, you're just going to keep it shut, okay? All right. You want to re-torque your lug nuts after 50 to 100 miles after you bring it home. It should be around, it varies, but you figure 100, 110 foot-pounds, somewhere in that area. They seat in, the factory's torqued them, we've torqued them, but it's good to torque them again and check them every now and then, okay? All right, so this valve is a gate valve here. All the dump valves are gate valves, so this is closed, right? This is for your fresh water tank. So to dump your fresh water tank, you're just going to pull it like that, all right? While we're talking about the fresh water tank, we have a fill for it right here. Now on the other side of the trailer, or in this trailer actually it's on the back, there's a city water hookup. The city water hookup is the typical way of using the trailer. You just hook the water up at the campground, turn it on, and the trailer's ready to go. Sometimes when you're at a place that doesn't have plumbing, or an older state park that has no plumbing on the campsite, but it has a fill station when you first pull into the park, you would fill it here, and then there's a 12-volt pump inside that will pressurize the trailer. So you can still camp using your toilet and your shower and your sinks even if there's not city water, as long as you've got a way to fill up your tank. Okay? All right. I'll show you the city water hookup when we get over there. All right, this is your water heater. This water heater is both gas and electric, either or. This is your drain plug. The thing attached to it, this long thing, is an anode rod. The anode rod is a sacrificial rod. Basically, the material that this rod is made out of is an easier target for minerals in the water to attack than the lining of your tank. So this will get eaten away, basically, as it's in there, but when it happens, it's just doing its job. When it gets really eaten away where there's barely nothing left, you'll replace it. So keep that in mind. You may know this, you may not. I don't know what your experience level is with trailers, so I'm just assuming that you don't, just so I can cover everything. This is a switch for the electric. You see right now it's off. If I can show you there, right there, it's on off. This plate right here is covering a heating element. So this is to operate the electric heating element. Some trailers will also have a switch inside. I'm not sure if this one does or not. We'll know when we get in there. But right now this is shut off. Always remember, never turn on the electric heating element unless your water tank is filled. Because if it's empty, it'll burn out the element in just a minute or so. And you'll have to replace it. Also, don't run the gas when it's not full because it'll damage your tank. So the switch for your gas, to run this on gas, is inside. There may be an electric switch also. We'll see when we get in there. Either way, this switch is here. And always be aware that it's here. Right now it's off. All right. One last thing. Before you pull the drain plug, always use this vent, or this pressure valve. Open it up to vent the pressure out of it. Otherwise, this anode rod plug combo will shoot out of there like a cannonball with a gallon of water right behind it. So you always want to make sure you let the pressure out first. Your steps fold right into the trailer. I'll do it real quickly for you, if I can do it with one hand. So it just goes like this. All right, locks into place. To release it, you're just going to go like this. Let it come back down. Let me grab it here without dropping my camera. Okay, so that's that. Now you'll also notice that the legs have holes in them, and right here this is a pin. So you can pop this pin out and adjust the length of the legs in case you're on uneven terrain, because in order to close your door, this has to be pretty much level with it right here, this gap. If it's up too high, the door will bind on it, so you adjust it down there, okay? All right, so let's see what we got back here, if anything. Now this is a friction hinge door, so it doesn't have a holder on it to hold it back. When it's hit with wind, it's supposed to resist it. So that's what they're shipping with trailers now. That's a friction hinge. This is just a Furrion plug in case you wanted to buy a solar battery panel, or let's say this again, a solar panel to charge your battery. That's better. So if you do, you can plug it into there. If you get the same kind that is adaptable to that, you can plug it right in there. All it does is charge your battery, nothing else. It's not going to run your whole trailer or anything like that. All right. Two 30-pound LP tanks, which are full. This is an automatic changeover LP regulator here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's green here. If it turns red, it means your tank's empty. This is not a tank selector, it's just a gauge. So you will point the indicator, let me get a picture, point the indicator at the tank you want to check. If it stays green, there's LP in it. If it turns red, there's not. You can check the other one that way. This is an automatic changeover regulator, so it'll draw this tank down first. When it's empty, it'll automatically switch over and draw this one down, and back and forth. So keep that in mind. Also, while we're standing here, this is a deep cycle marine battery, and that is the kill switch for your battery. It's on right now. You can see you just shut it off like that. So your battery is connected right now. You're always going to have it connected except when you put it in storage. When it's in storage, you disconnect the battery. The reason is, even with all the lights off, the carbon monoxide CO2 detector is hardwired to the battery, and it'll always draw power. Therefore, you can shut it off so it won't drain your battery down. But otherwise, you always leave it on, because your power converter will charge your battery when you're plugged in, and your tow vehicle will charge it when you're pulling it, so you got to have the battery connected to get it charged. This is your tongue jack, power tongue jack, up and down. We'll show you this as we show you when we show you how to hitch up. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so let me turn on the light here. Okay, this crank right here is for the power tongue jack. If it ever dies on you, fails, you can unscrew this. You can hook that crank right on in there and crank it manually. Okay, to get yourself out of trouble. This goes on the end of a drill. That's 3/4 inch, so that you can raise and lower your stabilizers with that. Okay, this has to do with running the awning in and out. You have a power awning, but if it ever failed, you can use this device. You have to watch the video or read the directions from that you'll find in your packet, your manual packet in there. It's kind of hard to explain, but it will get you out of trouble if you have to get out of trouble with it. This is your dump hose, and this is a reducer to reduce your 50 amp down to, well, actually, here's your cord here. It's a 50 amp cord. Then it's reduced down to 30 amp there. If you want to reduce it down to 15 amp for a home, you can plug this on the end of that, right? Keep in mind, you can run everything in this trailer on 15 amps, but you can't run the air conditioner because it draws too many amps and it'll pop the circuit breakers in your house. Okay? All right, your bedroom slide is in, your kitchen slide or living slide is in, your rear is in. All right, so you can see you've got two sets of dump valves here. This is your this is basically for the bathroom. You see you have the black there and your gray is there. The handles are colored on this, but always the black will be the larger one will be for the black tank, which is toilet water and waste, and the gray is the smaller valve, and it'll be for shower water, sink water, that sort of thing. This one up here is another gray tank called a Galley Tank. They call it a Galley Tank, but it's just a gray tank for the sink, the kitchen sink. So you actually have two gray tanks on this one and one black. Okay? All right, when you dump these back here, you're going to dump the black first, then you're going to dump the gray. You're going to hook your hose right up to here, the other end goes into the dump station. So you do the black first, which is toilet water and waste, then wash it out with the sink and shower water. It's still dirty water, but it's cleaner than the black water, so it helps to clean out the hose. Then you can take the hose from your camp or from the dump station and screw it right on here. This is a black tank flush. It'll clean out your back tank better. It has jets inside that spray the tank, so it'll clean it out even better. Just make sure that the black tank valve is open before you turn the water on. You can see, so you can see these operate like so. That's closed and that's closed. But you want the black valve open before you turn the water on, and it says right here on the sticker, right? This is your 50 amp cord, 25 feet long, we talked about. All right. Spare tire, your grill, back where we started. Cable and satellite through to the entertainment area. Just a coax hookup. And this is your city water that we spoke about. This is the most typical way of hooking up your water. You'll always use it if you got regular city water. The only time you use the tank and the pump is if you don't. But usually you'll have it these days. Like I said, some of the older state parks will have a fill station and no plumbing on the campsite. You're still going to want to go to those, obviously, because those are some of the best ones. But you would, if you were in that situation, you would use the demand tank, the fresh water tank. Okay. All right, so up there you see a housing for a backup camera. This one is pre-wired for a Furrion camera, so if you get a camera, you want it to fit in that housing. We sell them here. You can talk to our parts people. Either way, if you get one, it has to be the one that fits right into there. Same brand, same style. Also, and just in case you don't know, when you turn your running lights on, it'll light up the camera so you can back up. And you can also leave it on going down the road like some people do. It's got a little 7-inch screen that you keep up in your tow vehicle and to see what's going on behind you. It hooks up wirelessly to that. Also, while I'm pointing upward, you have to inspect the roof of your trailer. Not this trailer, every trailer ever built. So you're going to go up there 3 times a year, in the spring and in the fall and once in the middle of the summer. And you'll walk around and you'll look at all the sealant on the roof. There's a lap sealant called Dicor that seals everything, moldings and attachments. And you're just inspecting those for separation that's starting and cracking that's starting. You may go up there for 3 times a year for 5 years and have to do nothing, or you might have to do it next year. You don't know. That's why you inspect it. You're just protecting your investment and keeping your trailer in good shape. So you got to go up there and inspect it. It doesn't take long. It'll take you longer to drag your ladder over here than it will to inspect the roof. So figure 3 times a year, go up on that roof and inspect it. Okay. All right, so we'll go inside. Okay, so first thing we'll do is put the slide room out, the main slide. So we'll come over here to the control panel. So it's right here, slide out. So here we go. Push the button and hold it. Send it on out. That rubbing sound is the wipe seals wiping the side of the trailer. It does that so when there's rain on it, it squeegees off most of the water when you bring it in. I say most because there's always a few drops that get inside. So when it starts ratcheting, you know you're all the way out. Right there. So when it starts ratcheting like that, all you do is take your finger off the button. It'll do the same thing coming in. You've got shades in this trailer. Let me see if I can get it going here. There we go. So you got shades. Very nice. Okay, let's go back to the control panel for a minute. Your lights are outside lights. You can see right there. That's your LED. And then inside lights, which in this trailer is around the slide out. Now, all these other lights will have their own button. And you light them up as you need to. Okay? Now, the water heater on gas is right here. Right? There's a fault light up here, you can see there. If it goes out, it faulted. So that means it didn't light. You just shut it off and turn it on again. So I mentioned I would check to see what was inside here. If you had 2 switches, like some trailers do, some don't. That's why I couldn't answer until I got in here. So to turn on the electric, you're just going to make sure there's water in the tank. Right? You do that by turning on your hot water, and it'll start spitting out air, and then eventually air and water, and then solid water. Once solid water's coming out, you know it's full. Then you would turn on the switch outside to light up your electric heating element. That's what you're going to use most of the time because you're paying for electricity and you don't want to waste your gas on something you can do with electricity. All right. This next switch is for your awning. So we're going to go out with the awning. Let me make sure we can fit it here. Okay, yeah, so your door can be wide open for this one. Some trailers you can't. I just want to make sure check to make sure. So you're going to send this out until you see the metal awning tube. So we're getting pretty close. It goes out about 8 feet, I believe. So here we go. You can start to see it unraveling. So right there, we're all the way out. Okay? Now you can pitch this. Let's see what we've got here. Yes, by pulling down that joint there, you'll see a sticker on there, and you can actually pull it to pitch it to one side or the other. All right? Okay, let me bring that back in. So in we come. Takes a little while, it goes slow, but that's just a gear ratio they have to use. Okay, let me look around while this is coming in to see what we're going to do here. Okay, alright. Very nice trailer. A lot of slide outs, a lot of room. Okay, so you just hold the button until it stops right there. So we're in. Alright, so we'll do the main room here first. So here we are at the entertainment center. You got a fireplace, and then you have this sound bar. The remote for the sound bar is here. Basically, I'll just point out the features. You have outside speakers, which are zone 2. The inside speakers are zone 1. You can hook up wirelessly with Bluetooth by selecting it through the mode switch. And so you can play the MP3s from your phone or your tablet, whatever you got. You can stream off this USB right here. Put all your albums on one stick and take them with you. This HDMI is an in, so if you had your TV hooked up here, there's a backing plate behind here to hook up your TV. If you had your TV hooked up to it, you could get a game machine that's also a Blu-ray player, like I understand most of them are, or some of them are. You could just set it right here. There's power for it, and you plug right into that, and you can use that on a rainy day or whatever. All right. Like I said, it does have Bluetooth also, and then all the other typical radio functions that you would normally expect. Now, while we're looking at this, this is the signal booster for your digital antenna, right? See, right now it's off. You're going to want it on, or else you'll get a lousy signal on your TV, okay? This is just telling you that this is pre-wired for a signal booster and a router. There's also a plate on the roof that has a hookup for the antenna, and the router would hook here. And that's all this is telling you, that if you go to kingconnect.com, you can learn about the different packages they've got. Always get the one with the antenna on the roof if you're going to get one, because it makes a big difference in boosting your free campground Wi-Fi. If you use a lot of Wi-Fi, it would be good investment to get. There's different packages, different amounts of money. You can look through it. Also, you can talk to our parts people. Talk to Mike, he knows about them. But it is pre-wired for that, so you don't have to fish any wires or anything like that, okay? Also, this is the remote for your fireplace. Let me get back up here. Okay, so on. Alright, so low, high. Let me get so you can see it. Get back, low, high. Okay, so timer. That is the intensity of your fire, just visually, right? Changes colors. All right. So basically, and that's, like I said, that's your thermostat there. High is the fan speed. All right. So has a lot of functions, just like a space heater, but it's more of a high-end thing. Like I said, it has timer. You can adjust the flame, change the colors, and there's a fan inside, and you can change the fan speed as well as the thermostat. I hope that made sense. I was sort of rambling on there a little bit. Okay, let's go to the Galley. Remember I told you there's a separate tank for the Galley. So this has its very own gray tank, which they call a Galley Tank. That's the valve that's more towards the front of the trailer on the outside. They're telling you on this panel that your antifreeze inlet is behind there, right? So basically you'll pull this drawer out. You get these out just by pushing this one down and pulling the other one up on the other side. The drawer will come right out. And you'll see there's the hose and everything to draw antifreeze into your system when you're winterizing. Okay? Also, as I mentioned to you before, or I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I'll mention it now just in case. For the water heater, you have to bypass the water heater before you pump any antifreeze into the system. Because if you don't, you'll get antifreeze into the water heater tank, which you can't do because it leaves a really foul taste and a bad smell. So they give you a way to bypass it. You may already know this, but the bottom line is, if you don't know, you can have it winterized by somebody else and dewinterized by somebody else, or you can just learn yourself. It's not a difficult thing to do. Okay. This is your range here. So basically you spark this to light it. I hope I turned the tanks on. Yeah, I did. So you can see it lit right there. I'll do it again, and I can try to get everything on camera here. So I'll turn it on, and then you turn the sparker to the right, or clockwise, to light it, okay? You do that for all burners. It also has a oven light here. As you can see, we'll shut it off. Now, for the oven itself, there is way back there's a pilot light. If you can see, it sparks. I don't know if you can see that on the phone, but it sparks. So what you do is you go to pilot, right here, the picture of the flame, and then you depress this, and you hold it in. Then you're going to spark it until the burner lights. If it doesn't light within 6 sparks, because it hasn't been run for a while and there's a very small line that the gas comes through, you can shut this off, wait about 5 seconds, 10 seconds, turn it back on, and it'll light the second time around. It just, sometimes you have to work the gas through it. So you'll light it, you spark it and light it, all the while you're holding this down. After it lights, you'll still hold it for another 10 seconds or so to heat up the thermocouple. Then you're going to go to whatever operating temperature you want, and it'll cycle through like a regular oven. But when you go to off, your flame goes out, obviously, but also your pilot light will go off. So you have to relight it each time you use the oven. Okay? Alright. The microwave works like any other microwave. This is the range. Remember I told you about the baffle outside on the vent that you want to open up if you're going to run the fan. so it vents to the outside. Light. Your refrigerator is a 12 volt DC compressor refrigerator. So it doesn't run on gas, it just runs on 12 volt DC. So you can pull it, you can run it, pulling it down the road. Your tow vehicle will keep it going. The reason I use these a lot now is because the gas absorption, you can run it on gas, but it's much more shallow. It takes away like maybe a third of the depth because of the cooling unit assembly that, you know, you would only go back about this far with the refrigerator. This way you get much more depth. So people are really going for this design because they can fit more in it basically, and it still runs on 12 volt. You always lock it so the door doesn't fly open during travel and break or dent the door. I think I mentioned the microwave works like any other microwave. I hope I did. They haven't put your plate in yet, but we'll make sure that's done. This is your carbon monoxide and LP gas detector right here. It should always be green. If not, you get it serviced. It detects carbon monoxide buildup or LP gas leak buildup. So if it goes off, you go outside, you shut off your tanks and figure out what's going on. But it's very important that it's green. That means it's ready to go. If not, you want to get it serviced. Okay. This jackknife's flat into a jackknife bed, right? So you can do that with it. Also, this back comes out and you can configure it so you can make it into a larger bed. You can do different things with it. This table has two posts. They pull out of the table and out of the floor. You put them in the storage underneath, and they can drop the table onto these cleats right here, and then use the back cushion to fill in the space and make another bed out of it. Get some light here. Okay, so that's two beds. We'll move back here to the bathroom. First of all, let me get this other light here. First of all, this is your thermostat. You're basically going to just punch it once to light it up, right? And then you're going to go through, this is the fan, which is your air conditioner running without the compressor. Cool, which is your air conditioner going. Try to always run things on auto. That's very important. It runs much better on auto. And then that's heat. And then one more time and it is off. So there's a lag time with all the air conditioner and the furnace. There's a lag time. So it's going to take 5 seconds sometimes for it to turn on or off. Just keep that in mind, because when I first started shipping them, I thought there was something wrong with it. It was taking so long, but it's just me being impatient. Okay, the sink and the shower work like any other sink or shower, but the toilet is a little different. The toilet is right over the black tank. If you look down there, that's the black tank, right? If we had water hooked up, when I step on the pedal, let me show you the pedal here. When I step on the pedal, right there, see if I can find it again, it'll open the trap, but also before the trap opens, the water turns on. It'll swirl in there, right? It just comes swirling out. So the first thing you do when you get to the campground, you hook up your water and your power. You come in here and you put your chemical right here, whichever chemical you use. There's, you know, liquid, there's powder, there's pre-measured packets, there's scoops, there's all different kinds. But you'll put it in there, and then you'll step on the pedal and put about a gallon or two of water in the tank. There's no way to tell that from the monitor panel, but you just have to get used to doing it. You'll know how much. The bottom line is you got to have chemical and a little bit of water in it to start using it. Now, when you take your foot off and flush it, it's only going to refill about up to here with water. So there is a spot here, a sweet spot sort of. Let's see if I can get both of them here. I don't know if I can or not. Basically, I can push the pedal down and the trap doesn't open. It's just right at the top of it right here. So basically when I push this down, water will start to fill the bowl. So you can fill it as full as you want before you use it. You just have to do that each time before you use it, okay? Alright. This GFCI, several plugs will be wired through it. Keep that in mind. This trailer is long, so it probably has 2 GFCIs on it. So figure just roughly everything from the middle of the trailer back will be wired through this one, and there'll be another one in the front. So if you're using the plug outside and it with a coffee pot and it was to pop the GFCI, it's going to be one of these two to reset it. All right. Shower works like any other shower. Very nice. Okay. All right. So we got one slide out. Let me see what we got here. So this slide out, you can't open the door. So you're just going to do it blindly. We've already looked to make sure there's nothing outside, so we're just going to push out. You hear it going? And we'll know, it'll start ratcheting when it gets all the way out. So we'll just hold it on the button as it goes out. Right there when it starts ratcheting. So now it's all the way out. All right. Okay, so more buttons to turn on. All right, so this jackknife's flat into a bed, this couch obviously. And when you're using it as a couch, you just release it, and you can put it into this position here, like so. Okay, so you have it like that. This one obviously is just another bunk, and this is where you would, it still hasn't been cleaned yet, so there's sawdust in it, but we will clean it for you. You got storage here, a ladder here, more storage there, and a TV backer here, and video, antenna, and power here, so you can put a swing out bracket right there, and you can sit there and watch over here and watch TV, but you'd have to use a swing out. With your brackets, spend the extra money